What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. Today, me and Tucker are going to show you how the gardens are growing, grab a quick harvest, and we're also going to share with you a big problem in this little garden. Let's go! Let's start things off by grabbing one of these fresh heads of lettuce. These things have just gotten so big, it's insane. They're like taking over my bed. This is the solar flare lettuce. Let's grab this thing first. We're making so many salads with the amount of lettuce that we're harvesting this year. Let me show you the size of it compared to me. Look at this thing. This has got to be one of the biggest heads of lettuce that I've ever grown. Just insanely impressive. These things are getting so big, like I said, they're taking over the bed, but you don't even realize how big some of my other veggies are. I gotta show you, it's in the new food forest. I'll show you after I grab just a few more things, but it's getting out of hand. Check out the size of this head of lettuce too. Let me grab this one. I think this is the bronze mignonette. This is like my favorite variety of lettuce to grow. It always grows so well. It tastes delicious, has a nice crunch, and just look at this. So cool. Anyone could be growing this in the backyard. It's not even hard to do. But looks like Tuck's getting a little excited. He wants a snack of his own. So right here I've got a broccoli head that's already starting to form, and it's a little early, but we've had a lot of wind and a lot of shade, cloudy days and stuff. So the broccoli didn't grow that much, and then all of a sudden we had like a 93-degree day where it just got too hot, so the broccoli actually started to flower, but that's okay. Tuck loves the little pieces of broccoli. If you love seeing this guy in the video, hit the subscribe button because he's really the leader of the channel. We love this little guy so much. Check out some of the other stuff in the bed though. Look at the kales, the beautiful color on it. We'd love to see that. And then look at some of those other heads of lettuce over there. I'm not gonna harvest them today, but I really need to start eating them soon because look at this. We'll just have to give a lot of it away, but we love doing that. And then let me bring it to this spot over here. We took out a bunch of our radishes. They didn't do great, but we replaced them with some peppers. So soon this thing's gonna be just pumping out peppers, and we've even got some flowers and stuff mixed in. But I gotta show you how big some of the apples have started to get already. They're starting to swell so much. Thinning the apples has helped immensely. Let me bring you to a tree over here. Put this down. Look how much some of these apples are blowing up. I mean, the size, the beauty, it's just fantastic. Look at all of them. We're gonna have an excellent apple harvest coming up. And let me show you the pallet raised bed too. This thing is doing beautiful. We built this raised bed a couple years ago and it's just turned into a food producing machine. We've got some beautiful Swiss chard in here. I've got some of my tomatoes in. We've got our carrots between the tomatoes because carrots are a great companion for tomatoes. Just like that book we love, Carrots Love Tomatoes. And the tomatoes in the back are doing real well. I added something else to my tomato trellises this year. I've got this piece of wood at the bottom. Now what I'm doing is I'm tying my string to the piece of wood so it stays nice and tight. In the past, I tied my string to the tomatoes, and then when the wind blew, it would pull out the base of some of the tomatoes. Now it won't pull out the tomatoes, so I think this is a great new method. I'll show you on my bigger tomato trellis as well. And then as you turn around, you got to see how the beautiful line of tomatoes we got. So this is going to be like Tomato Alley. If you back up over there even more, you'll notice. So if you can imagine 10 to 12 foot tomatoes, we're just going to be able to be walking by, grabbing fresh tomatoes here, everywhere. So I've got more tomatoes in this year than I ever have, so the harvests are gonna get crazy. Let me bring you to the peas though. We're already getting beautiful peas. I'm talking yellow, green, purple, anything you can think of. Let's check out the peas now. They're just going absolutely insane. Look at this. Some of these peas over here, really starting to kick them out. More peas down this way as well. You want a peep, Tuggy? This guy likes his peas too. So he needs a piece of his harvest, but I mean, these are just looking the best they ever have. Look at some of the colors on them. I mean, the flowers are like blue, and then they open up and they're pink, and then yellow peas. I mean, it like almost seems made up. It's so beautiful. Look at all of them through here, as we got some back here too. And then as I move up, we've got some green ones. And then down here, we've got some purple ones. So it's a lot of fun growing them. Tuck usually likes the peas. He wants another bite. This guy's the best. Gonna cover these peas back up so the birds don't get to them. Check out this blackberry plant. This thing is has so many flowers on it. It's gonna be a great producer for us. And blackberries are so cool because they send out shoots all different places. So we've got other blackberry plants coming up. Blackberries over here. Blackberries right here. And this is the thornless variety, so we don't have to worry about scraping them into them or anything. So I love the thornless varieties when it comes to blackberries. As we walk through here, don't bump your head on the peaches. This one has so many peaches on it. Still not thinned perfectly, but we can go through and thin them. I've got some of my other peaches that I have thinned that the peaches are swelling up, like they're getting huge. I'll show you in a minute. As we walk by over here, some of our currants. These are my white currants. This plant has almost doubled or tripled in size since last year, and the currants are getting close. There won't be much time until they start to really ripen up. They'll go like a white color, and then just the trusses of currants, the amount of fruit this year, definitely more than ever. Then this is one of my favorite flowers for the garden. This is the echinacea, and one of the reasons I love it so much is because it's multifunctional, but it's also one of those plants that can just push up through the wood chips and then just grow beautifully. So I covered this stuff with the wood chips, didn't even worry about where it was, and it just pushed right through. So this is one of those flowers that we love so much. And then check this out right here. This is all stuff that I haven't even put in yet. So some of it might be extras. We always like having way more than we actually need, but a lot of the stuff I already got in too. So you may notice that the food forest is starting to fill in a little bit, and just in a short amount of time, we're not even gonna be able to walk through it. That's how much stuff I like to pack into the garden to grow as much food as we possibly can. So this pear tree's one of our favorites, one of our staples, the Chijiro pear. Not only is it really reliable, but the pears taste like butterscotch. They call it the butterscotch pear. It tastes like candy. It grows like, I mean, you can't even slow the thing down. And then right over here, we've got our persimmon. This is Nikita's gift. So this is a hybrid persimmon, but if you just take a quick peek on how many persimmons this thing is going to have, last year it had more than it ever had, and then this year it looks like it's basically doubling that. So this is just another one that's ended up being an incredible producer for us. It's really nice having some reliable varieties. Underneath here, we've finished harvesting the asparagus. Now we're just going to let them just grow, turn into ferns, and then just grow the root ball. So next year we get even more asparagus. This guy's still looking for some extra snacks. We'll have to head into the other garden, see if we can find something for him. Let's step into the other garden. I want to show you this bed right here. And this was the big problem I was talking about. It's not that there's a problem that's big, it's that big is the problem. Look at the size of this Olympia spinach. It has taken over like 1/3 of my whole entire Birdie's raised bed. I had some carrots over here. It just wanted to just take over this spot. I've never grown spinach this big or this healthy looking. I mean, this is like some of the top high quality food. You can't even buy food this good in the store. You gotta grow it yourself if you want it natural, organic, right in your backyard. Pluck it, bring it inside, eat it, or just eat it fresh right here. Look at some of these lettuces as well. It's been an incredible year for lettuce. That's one of the reasons we love planting a diverse number of things. So if it's a good year for lettuce, that's amazing. It wasn't a great year for broccoli though, but that's okay. We'll grow more broccoli in the fall. But man, look at some of these heads. So beautiful. I want to show you a few other things too. Let me bring you over to these strawberries. These strawberries are right on the cusp of getting towards ripeness. And this is the exact time when we want to come out and start putting our red rocks down just along the edges to try to trick the birds. Because as you come in here and notice, some of these strawberries have formed, they just gotta swell up a little bit. And this is the Shuckson variety, my favorite variety. So me and Tuck will go around, put these like around the bases to try to draw some of the birds in, just to trick them so they think these are the actual strawberries. Right, boy? But look at that. You love to see incredible sea of strawberries with the aisle down the center so we can pop in the middle and harvest both left and right. Here's some tomatoes that we put in. Classic Soldaki variety, one of my favorites. I grow this thing every year. We're starting to grow this up the stake here. Planted right into the wood chips. Let me show you some of my other beds. Here's another Birdie's raised bed right here. Growing some beautiful food. Look at the color and the health on those brassicas. You'll love to see it. The lettuces ready to go. All different varieties. Melissa Savoy cabbage getting fat. Some beautiful nasturtiums over here. I want to show you one of the varieties of broccoli back here that's starting to form up. This location gets a good amount of light this year, but as the year progresses, it gets some more shade. But let me show you some of the broccoli head. Look at this, the Veronica Romanesca. Oh, that is so beautiful. This thing is gonna get bigger, but look at this spiral on that. Absolutely beautiful. Probably my favorite looking broccoli variety that there is. And then some of our Swiss chard in this spot is growing real well. Right behind it, we've got some sunflowers that have just come up on their own. These are volunteers, we'll let them go. They're gonna be insanely tall for like, this bed's already a couple feet, plus like 10 feet. I mean, these sunflowers are gonna be huge. Let me show you this bed. Here's the keyhole bed that we put in. This is a Bill Mollison inspired design. Let me show you how it works. We can step into right here, reach either side, grab food. You'll notice I started to put my cucumbers in along the back there. Some of my peppers, some of the lettuces, just everything's really starting to come together. The boss is where he shouldn't be, climbing up on the bed. He'll be fine though, I'm sure he's not gonna cause any big issues or anything. Let me bring you over to the front section though, where we've got so much more food growing. And I haven't even shown you guys the side garden this year, where we have the biggest blueberry plants like I've almost ever seen. They're just absolutely massive. Let me show you some of these blueberry plants though. Right next to our strawberries, let's take a peek at the blueberries. Swelling up a little more every single day. This is gonna be an absolute bumper crop when it comes to blueberries this year. Right over here, we've got another Birdie's raised bed. This one's bigger though, filled with our brassicas. They're really starting to grow beautifully now that we're getting some decent sun. And then I just threw this cover over the top just so I could use it as a shade cloth and stuff. This was just a cover that I used for my other beds. Let me bring you back here, because even in spots you wouldn't think we're growing stuff, we've got blueberries. Blueberries are an understory plant, so they have no problem growing in a decent amount of shade. So these blueberries are growing in a decent amount of shade because they're on right next to the fence on the north side of it, so they don't get great light, but they're still producing a lot. Look at this blueberry. Look how much fruit is on this thing. We're gonna cover some of these blueberries with some insect netting just to keep the birds away, because just like the strawberries, the birds love going for these blueberries. I mean, who wouldn't want them? Just organic, eat them fresh, you literally can't beat it. Let me show you some other stuff. Let's check out some of these beds right here now. These are all in the square foot gardening method too, and they're completely planted. You won't see an open square in here. We've got everything from lettuces, we've got our eggplants, arugula, beets, kale, basil. I've done a real good job this year of adding all different kinds of flowers. We've got some cosmos here. We've got some calendulas, which are one of my favorite flowers. Look at the radishes starting to form. Some beautiful radishes. Look at the double one right here. Look how cool that it's like lifted up out of the ground. So cool. And then we got some French breakfast radishes that are just starting to get ready also. Nice cute little ones. Boss might want a piece. We'll give that to him. Look at this is my favorite variety of kale, because it's like the lacinato kale, it tastes like it, but the color is just so striking. This is the dazzling blue kale. Absolutely beautiful. And look at the color of it too. This is what we love to see. And we've got some more radishes here a little further behind. We've got some lettuce over here that's doing real well. This one's ready to go, ready to harvest. And then we've got some younger lettuce that's a little further behind it. This way we can get that continual staggered harvest. Some of my purple basil starting to do well. We just got this in the other day. And then behind me over here, I've got a bed with some similar things, but you'll notice again, we've got lettuces that are a little further behind, so we're getting that continual harvest. We've also got some chamomile and stuff in here, all different kinds of flowers to draw in all good pollinators. And then one of our favorite flowers to put in the garden is the marigold. What are you doing, buddy? This guy's just trying to be a king and walk all over everything. And then look at the Lala Rosa lettuce. I've got another one that's further ahead, but I mean, look at the color of it and stuff. It's so beautiful. Sometimes you don't even want to eat the stuff because it looks so good. Let me show you the tomato trellis too. And here's that extra piece of wood that I added. So I added this wood, it's attached on both sides. So again, this is where I have my string tied to. So we're not gonna have the stress of pulling on the tomatoes. I think this is gonna work a lot better. I should have done it in the past, but better late than never, as they say. Let me show you some of the peaches and stuff, because those are just swelling up. Soon we're gonna be getting some peaches. Look at this guy. You can't stop him sometimes. Look at, he's going for the kale. Here you go, boy. He wants to break the plant. He loves the stems of the kale for some reason. Hilarious. Take a peek behind him though. In past years, I had some peas and stuff growing in this section, but I can't anymore. The grapes have absolutely taken over which is what we love to see. I mean, the amount of grapes these are gonna have. Look at every new growth has about 2 sets on it. So where the buds were, look at a set there, double set there, double set. So I might even have to thin this because there's probably going to be too many grapes, but this is how I like growing them. This is the better way to do it, up against a trellis like this instead of have it hanging over top. The only reason I do the ones hanging over top is because it looks cool. So let me bring you over to these peaches. As we walk by some apples. These apples are swelling up too. Look at the size of some of them. This is my Williams Pride. This is the earliest variety. So they're swelling up nicely. We love to see it. And then here's another variety of strawberries. You'll notice we've got this theme where we have fruit trees, and then between some of the rows of fruit trees, we've got strawberries as an incredible ground cover. And then next to some of the fruit trees also, we've got the blueberries. So it's like we're following this 7-layer food forest method, and then just like filling things in. Look at this is the frost peach here. Look how big some of them are starting to swell up already. That's what we love to see. Better spacing on this. I mean, absolutely excellent. Some people questioned if the kaolin clay was going to block some of the light getting to the peaches, but it doesn't. This is what a lot of the growers do in the East Coast, because if you're in the East Coast and you deal with the plum curculio, you basically have to use the kaolin clay because it's one of the only ways to keep the bugs off of if you want to do it organically, off the peaches. Let me show you this one. This variety of peach. Got some nice monsters here also. Look. Looking real nice up here. But the healthiest, best looking peach is my Betty peach down here. Let me show you. This one looks like it's going to be the best producer. This one has some really nice size peaches on it. And the distribution of the fruit looks like it's better. So this is the one I'm really looking forward to getting some delicious fruit from. Next to it, we're always trying to plant stuff closer than we should. Here's a persimmon. This is the Fuyu persimmon. So these are the persimmons that you can eat when they're hard. So different than our other persimmon. This is the non-astringent. The stringent persimmons, you really got to wait for those to, get really soft, almost jelly-like, before you can eat them. These ones you can eat when they're hard. So get an earlier harvest on this one. Before me and Tuck let you go, we got to show you some of these blueberry plants back here. Look at this, just for some scale. Look at the size of this blueberry. This thing is like tripled in size in just a couple years, and the amount of fruit, you can see it's a little further behind some of the other varieties, but this one plant is like enough for a person. We're gonna be freezing a lot of blueberries this year. One of my absolute favorite fruits to eat. I always tell people, if you're starting a garden, you have to get strawberries in and blueberries immediately. Those are going to be fruits that produce quick and taste amazing. They're those kind of fruits that you're never going to have extra of. Look at this variety too. This one's doing excellent. Notice it's grown in some of the shade of a tree right above it, because these are understory bush, so they're fine growing in some shade. Look at this one back here too. Oh, I love to see it. Nothing makes me and Tuck happier than seeing some fresh, organic fruit. We're gonna just be coming out here every day, snacking on them in a short amount of time. These will be ready first though, the black cap raspberries. My favorite variety of raspberry. These ones have such a unique flavor. It almost reminds me of like a really sweet warhead or something. It's just, you can see that these are actually black caps. These are the raspberries here. So all we need is a good rain and these are gonna start swelling up and ripening. And then right here we've got an Asian pear that's producing well for us. You can see we've been spraying it with the kaolin clay, which you got to do. I just have to go around and thin this one. So we're just on the side of a house. Most people wouldn't even think of putting a garden here, but we're growing more blueberries than you could even imagine. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. These videos are some of mine and Tuck's favorite, where we can just show you everything we have growing, show the progress, because there's nothing we enjoy more than the act of actually growing the food. That's probably our favorite thing to do. It's not just about the harvest. We find joy in planting, watching it grow, and then actually getting the harvest at the end. And there's no one better to share the harvest with than this guy. So we appreciate you guys coming along for the whole show. We wanted to thank one of the new channel members, Sean Blair. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for contributing, and just know that you have your hand in a lot of the things that we're actually harvesting from this garden. The pallet beds are doing great. Blueberries in the back, tomatoes growing up the stakes, chickens sleeping in the background. So this is kind of what we've always been working towards, and we're happy that we get to share it with all you. You may have heard some extra sounds and stuff going on in the background. That's just because we live in just a regular small suburban lot. Sometimes you can't tell if you just take a look around. It doesn't really look like it used to of just grass. So we've got a whole food forest, a food producing machine, and nothing brings me and Tuck more joy than sharing with all you guys and hopefully encouraging you to plant some of your own stuff. So if you did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends. Don't forget to check out the merch down low and at jamesprigioni.com. Tuck, the boss, the king, and James, we'll be back at you again real soon. We